Welcome back to Delicious and Nutritious, where we use the best quality ingredients to cook the tastiest food. Today we are going to get down on one of my favorite things in the world. It has been for a long time, but at some point I started to lose tolerance to peanut butter, and the chocolate that they use is not the best. We're gonna do mimicked Reese's Pieces butter cups, right? Reese's peanut butter cups are absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorite things to get on Halloween. But unfortunately, that candy is not so great for you. So today, Dr. Axe has an absolutely amazing sunflower butter cup recipe. I absolutely love this recipe. We aren't really gonna modify too much of this. I'm gonna give you the ingredients that I use, and then we're gonna start getting down on everything that we have to do here. This is amazing. I am so excited to bring this recipe to you guys. So before we get into it, we obviously want to know what we're going to need. We're going to need some coconut oil as well. Secondly, we're going to need some type of salt. We can have pink Himalayan sea salt, or we can have gray sea salt. And then we're going to need some dark chocolate. I choose the Lily's dark chocolate baking chips, and you can also use any type of butter. However, we're going to use the sunflower butter as is recommended in this recipe because we're going to be mixing it with medjool dates. It tastes amazing and it comes out fantastic. And then finally, we have one more ingredient, as always, is going to be the vanilla flavoring, and I choose to use the one that is non-alcoholic with glycerin in it. And then our trusty couple things that we need some teaspoons, we need some measuring cups, and then if you guys have been hearing me quite frequently, we are going to use a food processor. I'm telling you, food processor is the healthy dessert cooker's best tool. I'm telling you, that thing is amazing. Then we're going to have, if you care, large baking cups, and we have our trusty silicone muffin sheet. So with all that said, let's start getting into the recipe. So at first, it calls for 3 cups of baking chips. This actually calls for a double broiler to melt these, which means the bottom is gonna have water and then it's gonna heat up the top basket that's gonna sit in it. So I'm just gonna caution you guys, if you do this, how I'm gonna do it, to make sure to cook it on a very, very low temperature. So 3 cups of the baking chips. So we're gonna use our trusty Ozeri pan, and we're just gonna be very cautious in the background when cooking this particular recipe. So we are going to need 3 cups, cup number 1, cup and a half. All right, so each of these packages is going to be 1.5 cups. So it's perfect, as all you need is 2 packages of the Lily's dark chocolate baking chips. So 3 cups, look at this. That's amazing. It's gonna come out so good. I can't wait. I'm so excited. And then to add in here, we're gonna want 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, which helps with the melting process to make sure that the chocolate doesn't really burn. That's really important. And then finally, we want the 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So the vanilla's 1 teaspoon going right in there. Okay, so if you don't have the double boiler, what you're gonna wanna do is put it on low heat, and then I would cover it. And a great thing for the recipes is the cooking silicone utensils. Super easy. Just stir it, I wouldn't say super frequently, but definitely frequently enough. But having the top on it is gonna start to melt it all together. But the goal is to keep it stirred and not in one space, because that's really what can do the burning. And that's what the double boiler really prevents, is because it's just using the water to heat it up as opposed to direct flame underneath the chocolate. And now while that is going to be melting, we can start making the filling, which is going to require sunflower butter, the dates, and a little bit of coconut oil. Coconut oil is going right in here. And next, we are gonna use our sunflower butter. Organic, very important. If you can find sprouted, it would probably be the best idea. This one is not sprouted, this one's gonna be roasted. And then finally, we have a teaspoon of sea salt. And then it's calling for a 1/4 cup of medjool dates. It looks like it's gonna be about 2 dates. And also, if you do not have a food processor and you don't feel like purchasing one, I totally get it. You can also use a high-powered blender as well. So even with the food processor, it's still building up a little bit on the walls. So this is where the spatulas come into play. The silicone spatulas are crazy amazing. Look at that, just scraping the walls right there super easily and putting it right back in there. You're gonna want to really try to make sure you get all the dates ground up in there. You do not want to leave any chunks of dates, because that's gonna be like a really sweet experience for somebody, as opposed to like a balanced overall one. So we're going back in with the dates to really try to blend those up a little bit more. Okay, there it is. That's the next round. Okay, so the chocolate is pretty much done. Remember, low heat. Mine was a little higher than low heat, so I had to modify it just a little bit. So here we go. I just wanna put a forefront notice for you guys before you start in on this. If you are putting it in the pan, the goal is not to cook this. We are just melting it, so you're gonna have to be very attentive for it. So now what we have to do, we want to put a little bit in the bottom. This is gonna be a 3-layer process. So we're gonna put some in the bottom, and then we are going to freeze it, and then we're gonna put the middle in there. We're gonna freeze it again, and then we are gonna put the top on it, and that's gonna seal in the butter in the middle. So it's gonna take a little bit of waiting time just to let the chocolate freeze on the bottom. We have the bottom of our sunflower butter cups. You can see it right there. And we're just gonna go ahead and put this right into the freezer, and we'll be right back. So while that is freezing, we are gonna reach over here. We are going to grab our trusty sunflower butter for the middle. And after this, everything is okay to try. You can test it to see if you want it to be a little sweeter, but just remember, you're getting some sweetness, even though it's a little bittersweet from the chocolate and then the dates. So you don't want to get it too sweet, but you're gonna have to try it for yourself and see what works best for your taste buds. Okay, and there we have it. We are officially done right there. That is good, looking real good. And just remember, it might taste a little bitter, guys, but we have sweetness in the chocolate, dark chocolate, the nut butter cups. It's gonna come to, ooh, it's gonna be amazing. And we have the sunflower butter cups right here. Look it, super hard. Like as soon as you're done, they're ready to go. Look, we already have the base. You can already see them starting to come together. So now we're just gonna put all of the sunflower butter mixture in here. And so now we want to spread it evenly throughout, because remember, we're gonna be putting the chocolate that's still liquid over here on top. And there we go. So now we have one more trip to the freezer. And then we're gonna finish off with the chocolate, which is still liquid, which is good. And we have round number 3. So this chocolate, I didn't want it to go too much in the wrong direction, is now going to have to go over the top here and cover up our cups to make these sunflower butter cups. Alrighty, we are all dirty, but the cups look cool, and it kind of looks cool with the drizzle in between, but they're going right back in the freezer. Or if you want to put a little bit more sea salt, what you can do, a cool little thing is to sprinkle a little bit of sea salt right in the middle of the chocolate. It's really gonna do it justice, just like that. You can try one, see how you like it, and go from there. So back to the freezer, and then we're gonna try it together and finish this all up. And there we have it. They are pretty much done. They can definitely freeze a little bit more, but when you're gonna eat them, you're gonna wanna thaw them just a little bit, as most of these no-bake desserts are going to be, but boy, do they look good. Let's pop one out here so that you guys can see this together. We can try it together. I want you guys to see this. So the middle is still a little bit liquidy, but look how that came out. It can definitely freeze a little bit more, but the outside of the chocolate's already frozen. So without further ado, drum roll please. Let's try it out. Oh man, I'm telling you, they're so good. So those are gonna be sunflower butter cups. This is a Reese's Pieces replacement in your life. Once you start eating this, you're gonna forget how they taste. You're gonna go back to them and they're just gonna taste different to you, because now you're eating the healthy, real food as opposed to processing chemicals. So I just wanna say thank you guys so much for taking your time out of your day and cooking with me. It's such a joy. I'm so thankful for all you guys being here. So I can't wait to make more delicious and nutritious recipes with you guys so we can keep changing the world one bite at a time.